The reunion, give me one word to describe it.
Intense, intense. Very happy to be in the position I am, which is not in that relationship. He could have a girlfriend. I really don't care what he does.
I made it nice. Going with the weird side.
That's my opinion! First things first, how are you doing? Just like, what, can I get a wellness check?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. You know, and as soon as this season is done airing, I can finally close that chapter and put it behind me. Because it's a unique experience. Most people go through breakups, but then they don't have to relive it for the next 10 months.
Pearl, I am sitting here trying to be a really good partner to you,
And I'm asking for more.
You just want me to say, yes, go for it,
I
without
do.
asking any questions.
No,
and I
only ask
asked you that
questions
10 minutes ago, and you couldn't even answer.
You're gonna walk away?
But other than that, yeah, I'm doing really well. I bought a house in Nashville, you know, kind of starting a new business venture there, and you know, just living life and traveling.
Living life, and you have a new someone special?
I do have a new someone special, yeah. He's incredible.
You know, are you gonna spill a little more of that, or are we keeping it private?
I'm gonna keep it as private for as long as I possibly can. You know, it's not, my life for the last 8 seasons and years has been fully out there on display. You've seen all of my romantic relationships come and go and, you know, blow up in front of everyone's face. So I don't know. I'm gonna see just how long I can push this one in, you know, in my own life privately.
Private. No, I respect that, because you just said people go through a breakup, but you're going through a breakup 10 months later in front of a national TV audience, which can't be easy. How is watching everything back for you?
There were a few episodes that are obviously like, you know, hard to get through, and you're just like kind of clenching the couch as you're getting through it. Other ones, it's eye-opening, and you're seeing things for the first time, and you're understanding, you know, what led to certain fights or events or things. So it's been an interesting season to watch back.
Interesting to say the least. Even as a fan, I'm like, okay, this is all not making sense, but I remember when news first broke, you said you were blindsided. Now, after watching some of these episodes back, do you still feel like you were blindsided?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, 100%. Because as much as, you know, what you're seeing on TV now is playing out over the course of months and months and months, ultimately, it wasn't that long for us in real life. You know, we had a couple of fights in the beginning, 2 weeks that we were there. We had 5 weeks in between that we were, you know, doing really well. And then the last 2 weeks of summer. So it wasn't that much, like in real time, in real life. You know, we're fighting for 2 weeks.
Right.
You know, and also like 2 weeks before the breakup, you have to remember he was posting all over Instagram about happy birthday, my fiance, I can't wait to marry you. He showed up at my bridal shower 2 weeks beforehand. So, you know, like he was leading me down one road thinking that, you know, all was good and, you know, we're doing this and our friendship is going to be the foundation that keeps us together. And then boom.
Right.
It turns out it wasn't going to go that way.
But a lot of fans are now kind of calling out Carl of like, okay, you kind of knew that maybe you weren't going to marry Lindsay.
It seems
Right?
that way, watching it back. Yeah, like it really seems that he almost, you know, had started making this decision way earlier on in the summertime, potentially after his conversation with his parents, which was at the beginning of summer. So, you know, it appears like he's planting seeds. It seems like he, you know, knew what he was doing, you know, or going to do, and was just trying to justify it along the way.
And how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel very happy to be in the position I am, which is not in that relationship.
Right.
You know, happy to be out of it because, you know, you want to be with somebody who's going to be honest with you and open and challenges you, and you know, especially when you're talking about a forever relationship. Like,
Right.
I'm looking for a very adult relationship, and one that requires tough conversations and, hard decisions. And there has to be two people who do that, not one.
Right.
So I often found myself being the only one driving the ship, like having the tough conversations, making all the decisions, driving the ship in every which direction. And I'm looking for a partner. So I'm happy I'm not in that relationship.
No, you can tell. You're glowing, you're smiling, it's
Thank
very
you.
authentic. I think also fans are also happy that it didn't work out.
Yeah,
right?
I think they are too. Andy Cohen is very happy about it. Every time I see him, he's like, you guys should never have been even thinking about getting married. I'm like, okay, Andy.
Okay, thank you so much, Andy. I appreciate that, but okay. You did just see Carl at the reunion.
Yes.
How was that? Because was this kind of the first time really hashing things
Yeah.
out?
No, it certainly was. I think it took me a little while to be able to look at him directly in the face. But then when I had something I really needed to make it a point to get across to him, I of course was, eye to eye. We also were not sitting far away from each other. It's me, Andy, Carl, and for some reason, I don't know if it was because the nature of where he and I are at right now, but the couches also seem closer together. I was like, does it seem like we're closer together this year?
Probably. They probably purposely did that. They're like, we're going to put you really close so you can...
yeah.
The energy, the eyes. That couldn't have been easy, though, Lindsay. Come on. I mean...
You know what I just kept telling myself is I just have to get through today.
Yes.
I just have to get through today. I didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel nervous.
Yeah.
It was one of those things, it's almost like preparing for a test, right? You just have to do it. And this was the last step in that process of closing the chapter. It was the last thing that I had to check off my list before I can, finally stop reliving this over and over and over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't that it wasn't easy, it wasn't hard, it just was had to be done.
Do you feel closure now, though? Do you feel okay?
I felt I got my own closure pretty early on after the breakup. Considering I didn't get any answers from him, I had to get my own answers. So I've felt closure for a while now. I think it was more just closure from, once again, having to relive it.
Reliving it all, and you're like, wait, you said this, you said that, this person said
Which
this.
is fun to relive, when they're happy moments.
Right.
At one point I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe our, his proposal, our engagement is captured on TV, and we get to relive this for the rest of our lives. Those are happy moments that you're excited to relive, and then there's the awful, most traumatizing, humiliating moments that you have to relive.
But then you also have to think about the people that are maybe going through a similar situation, and they're seeing how you're handling it all. So there's always a positive spin. But I do just need to note, Carl's mom, when she brought up Lauren at the bridal shower.
That was so awkward.
I was like, why? What?
Why is that your first instinct, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're going to be such a great mother-in-law. And she was like, yeah, Lauren Workus thought the same thing. I'm like,
what?
Why? Why are we talking about any of my fiance's exes at my bridal shower to get married to your son? That... I don't know. It was very awkward.
It was very awkward. And even the conversation with his parents.
That was a hard conversation to hear about when I heard about it over summer, but also to really see how that conversation went down. It was really hurtful.
Yeah.
I think it's really hurtful for parents to, go on national television and bash your fiance and future wife.
Yeah.
And especially since I've, been in their lives since before Carl and I were ever dating. I've been a huge part of Carl's life and with his mom, so I think that's what hurt the most.
Totally understandable. Now, the big question here is, where do we go? Where do we go with Summer House? Is there a world where you both come back? What are you thinking about next season?
Fortunately, that is not my
You're
decision.
like, I
that
don't have to decide.
I don't have to be the one that figures that out. But they're creative. I think that, like, you know, I think there's a world that always exists. There was a world that existed before I was ever with Carl. Now,
Right.
granted, we didn't go through this, like, volcanic eruption of a breakup on, you know, the last season, but yeah, I've like completely moved on. So
You can I can totally tell.
I'm just like he's just another guy in the room to me.
I'm like, I hate that I have to keep asking about Carl questions, but the people want to know. But you can tell that you are like, I'm so moved on from this.
Yeah, I'm
like,
just so over
over
him.
it.
Yeah, like I mean, it was kind of easy. Like he made it easy on me to just shut off all my emotions towards him. But I just am like, I just don't care.
I just don't care.
Yeah, I just don't care.
Would you not care if then he came back?
I don't care. Yeah, he could be back. I just
You don't
wouldn't care. Like
But you wouldn't
you know
be
when
like-
there's like, you know how like indifference
Yeah.
is like just the worst feeling or emotion that you can give someone?
It is.
Like that's how I feel very indifferent about him.
So you wouldn't be the one to be like, I'm not going to film with you. I refuse.
No.
You just kind of would ignore him and...
I just would talk to other people who I would consider friends. I mean, there's nothing. He could have a girlfriend. I just don't. I really don't care what he does. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I feel it and I love it for you because literally who cares then?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares?
I do want to know because it is an ensemble cast. You have all the other people on Summer House. Did you feel like people picked sides after the breakup? Because we saw that you got close with the girls this season. It was kind of like a different dynamic.
It's so hard. I mean, most of the people in the house have known Carl and I for the same amount of time. So, you know, a lot of times if you're one of the guys, for example, you're only getting Carl's side. Like Jesse has said a number of times now, he's like, I only got Carl's side over Summer, but once I heard Lindsay's side after the breakup, I started understanding more. And I think that's just sort of the nature of friend groups in general, and especially, you know, ensemble casts is like, you're not always privy to everyone's side.
Right.
So I don't know if everyone picked sides. I think it's just a really hard situation to even be on anyone's team because like everyone lost, you know?
Right.
So.
Right. We haven't seen the breakup yet, and I swear this is the last Carl question. Then we're moving on, like you already have. But we haven't seen the breakup yet. Are you nervous to watch back? Are you any moments where you feel like you might regret anything that you said?
No, because I was really proud of myself and how I handled that conversation. You know, I think a lot of people, and even, you know, on this season, Carl really tried to like present me as some sort of like monster. Like, I am so scared to talk to her about Loverboy. And every time he did, I was like, okay, great. Cool.
Yeah.
Go work for, like, how do you feel? Like, is that what you want to do? And just asked a bunch of questions. But I haven't gotten activated.
You haven't.
I didn't get activated last season either.
No.
And like, you know, I'm really proud of that kind of growth, you know, just being able to control my reactions and not get activated. And also, you know, especially in that breakup conversation, not get baited into what reaction he's looking for me to have, and just holding true to who I am.
I love that you are so at peace with it because that's amazing. Before I let you go, I do want a couple of hot takes because there are so many other things happening in Summer House besides the Lindsay and Carl of it all, and I need your hot takes. Okay. So Sierra and West, we don't know if they're still together. I'm sure we'll find out at the reunion. But do you ship them? Like, do you?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think West brings Sierra out of a shell. You know, she can be a little shy at times. She can be reserved, especially when dating. And he's so charming and easy, you know, to be around, that I think he pulls out, you know, from her this like really fun side.
Yeah, I feel it.
I ship them, yeah.
Okay.
And he's great. He's a great guy.
He was a great addition, which thank you to that.
Yeah,
thank
you're
you for
welcome.
that. He's so
You're
great.
welcome, America.
Okay, now this is kind of an awkward one, but people are shipping Jesse and Amanda.
Yeah, I heard that recently, and
What?
people are so interesting.
People are so interesting.
Well, we obviously know that's not gonna happen or work.
Yes, because I was also going to ask, because we have seen Amanda and Kyle fight a lot this season. What is your take on their relationship after watching all of that?
Well, I mean, they fight every season a
Yeah.
lot. So I don't know. It's hard because you're not like in it with them. And you don't really know what goes on behind closed doors, and like they could have a really super loving relationship at home in the off season. Who knows? But I don't know. I mean, whatever works for them. If that's fighting, then go for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to watch at times. I mean, especially hard when, especially now, it's like Amanda's like wanting to branch out and do something for herself and like what makes her happy, and Kyle's having a hard time with that. That to me is harder to watch than, them fighting. It's more like, your wife wants to go do something for herself. And something that he's complained about for years. And now she wants to do it, and you're telling her no.
You're telling her no. It also kind of seems that she could do without the show. She could just go live her life, and I feel like he wants to be on the show until...
Well, he wants to be a DJ, so he needs something.
He needs something. Okay, so what about Paige and Craig? What is your hot take on their relationship?
Long distance seems to work for them.
Yeah.
I think that's great, right? Like, they basically have two homes, one in New York, one in Charleston. And, when you're long distance, you miss them, and then you kiss them.
Then you kiss them.
You miss them and kiss them.
And kiss them. Wait, is your new partner long distance or
No.
Okay, also we're not going to talk. We're keeping it private. So
No, he's not long distance.
Okay, then I love that for you. Also, can we just say the smile? The minute I said your new man, there was a big smile. So
Yeah, he's sweet. He's great.
you're happy.
Yeah.
It's obvious. I love it.
Yeah.
One last thing. The reunion, give me one word to describe it. One word.
Intense. Intense, yeah.
Okay.
But that's to be expected. It's nothing that we don't already know is going to happen.